happen. I needed to move rooms because I was live earlier and I had a more stable connection because I was closer to the Wi-Fi. I'm kind of thinking I should turn it off. Let me see. Let me know how the audio is because I just turned to my mobile network. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the fact that Kanye West is not a good father. Um, hey girl, hey, how's my audio? Please let me know how it is. Now, as things unfold, more people are saying that more people are saying, oh, okay, okay, I get it now, I get it. Kanye West is abusive, he's not a good dad. But a couple of weeks ago, or even like last week, people were like, oh, he has some mental issues, but he's an okay dad. He's a good dad. He's just trying to be there for his children. And that's when I was like, oh, I need to make a video called Kanye West is not a good dad. But every day, Kanye, since then, every day he's doing something crazy, outrageous, and erratic. And some of the people who last week were saying he wasn't a good dad are now saying, okay, no, okay, now I finally get it. He really is problematic. Now, I just want to back up to Kanye coming out as a producer, like starting producing before he became a recording artist. I actually met Kanye when he was a producer and he was working on his first album. It was about to drop. He came to my city. I knew some guys who did promotions and they had did a party for him. The Kanye that we know today that does not like black women is the same Kanye from, oh, this was what, 23 years ago, maybe. Let me think. We'd have to look up the dates of when his first album dropped, but it was before then. This was like, let me think. 22. At least between 22 and 24 years ago. Kanye was self-hating. He didn't like black women 24 years ago. Okay? The same disgruntled, rude, arrogant bastard that you see today, he was that way 24 years ago. And I can tell you that from personal experience. Um, a lot of people blame his bad behavior on his mother's death. And I can say he was self-hating before his mother passed away. Now, I don't know if anyway, she passed away. And people try to blame her passing on his erratic behavior. He was unstable before she passed away. He was self-hating before she passed away. Now, I do think that his mother tried her best to humble him. I think she tried her best to keep him rooted in Black community and culture. I believe that his mother had a lot of initiatives in Chicago investing into the youth. And I do think that she tried to siphon funds from him into the community in Chicago. I think that she was the big link between his money and the community. But that is the story of many Black women. Black women are generally committed to Black community. And when Black women get access to resources via whoever and whatever, whether it be through employment, marriage, whether they have a son that pops off or a daughter that pops off or an inheritance or the lottery or whatever, Black women tend to funnel a lot of money back to the Black community. And Donda was no different than any other black woman that gets money and puts it back into the community. So Donda invested her life in Kanye's artistry. She was the one, not his father. Donda was the one who enrolled him in the performing arts. She was the one who went to his recitals. She's the one who paid for private piano lessons, private singing and voice lessons, private guitar lessons. It was Donda who did all of that. She was the one who put him in extracurricular activities to keep him out of the gangs. Donda was the one to do that. So Kanye was her investment. So when he started to flourish as a producer and then later a recording artist, uh her connection to him, she took that money and she funneled it back into the black community, because many black women do that, because black women are very race loyal by and large. Black women are race loyal. Black women care about black children. Black women are the ones who are the community. And Selfish Love says she's the one who protected him from his alcoholic father. Yes, she absolutely did. So yeah, Donda did all of that. So yeah, she was the connection. She was funneling the money back to the black community. Kanye wouldn't have been giving not one red penny to the black community had it not been for Donda. And she was the one who was keeping a lot of his um, psychopathic tendencies in check, humbling him and reminding him of who he is and what his mission should be. But see, this is another conversation that I want to have in another video. I want to talk about the overall degeneracy, self-hate, self-loathing, self-destructive culture of the black male collective, and how Donda, being the regal, prestigious, accomplished, and educated, dedicated woman that she is, could not raise her son to be race loyal, no matter how hard she tried. Donda died trying to make her son race loyal, and he was treasonous even when she was alive. He went against everything she stood for. Donda was a very smart, accomplished, passionate woman, and she could not raise a son to be race loyal. She could not raise a son to be self-preserving. She could not raise a son who even wanted to replicate himself. Because why? Black male culture absorbed him into degeneracy. So is it even possible, no matter how accomplished you are, to keep your son from engaging in treasonous, self-destructive, self-loathing, self-hating, anti-black behavior, even when you're smart, even when you're accomplished, even when you're connected, even when you're loving and you do everything to try to keep your son away? Is it even possible? That's a question for another video that we can tackle. But Donda failed at her attempts to keep Kanye grounded and race loyal and self-preserving. He chose to engage in self-destructive behaviors, treasonous behaviors through his own will. He willed it to be. So she was a buffer, although as time went on and Kanye started to get more money, her influence of him was waning anyway before her passing. It was already waning. So when people make this false equivalency that her passing was his, oh, he hit a breaking point and he just went off the rocker. No, he was well on his way before she passed. he'd already made up his mind that he wasn't going to be a self-preserving man, that he would engage in treasonous anti-Black behavior and rhetoric. He had already decided that he'd already started doing that before she passed. So I would challenge that. Oh, his mother's passing was the breaking point. Um, moving on, moving on. Him, like so many other males like him, choose to scrape from the bottom of the barrel, low tier women of no color to choose to invest their resources into. And I've heard intellectual mammies on other channels, I won't say any names, um, say that, oh, we can't really count that. That's like the top 1% of Black male earners. The average Black man wants a Black woman. Well, when it comes to wealth and solidifying wealth within any community, the top 1%, the top 5%, the top 10% of that community matter. They do. Now, when we look at men of no color who choose to marry a Black woman, we have a few examples, and we do applaud those women. But when we look at the percentage of men of no color in the top 5, 10, or 1%, it's minuscule. They tend to choose women of their own race. But when we look at Black men in the top 10, 5, and 1%, we have like a 90%, especially in like the top 1%, we may have a 80 to 90% of those males who choose women outside the community. Now, you could say that there are anomalies, but that would be trying to, basically, you want the narrative that these men don't count because these intellectual mammies want to, I don't know what the fuck they want to do, honestly. I don't know if they want to be chosen by Black men or applauded by Black. I don't know what benefit it is to them to uh take on this fight for Black men. I don't know. But for whatever reason they have. And they want to say that these top 1% earners and Black males don't matter. When we're talking about wealth transfer, it does matter. And it is alarming that Black women, when the more money a Black man makes, the least interested he is in Black women. That's abnormal. This is a phenomenon that's unique to them. You don't see this in Korean men, Chinese men, white men, Arab men. You don't see this in any other race other than Black males. They're the ones who, the more resources they gather, the least interested they are in their own community. That is a disorder. It's weird, it's strange, it's unnatural, it's unique. It's unique to them. So when you talk about getting out of a position of subjugation, and being under the power of another male group, you would have to think that these males don't have any interest in getting out from under the power of another male group, because the top earners within that community wants to funnel their resources to the daughters, the nieces, the ex-wives, um, of the men in power, therefore funneling the resources right back to them. And I know it's really interesting. You know, there's so many, like, if you look in like California, for example, California, and there's a lot of sports agents and acting agents and record labels and stuff like that. And sometimes they'll pay these Black men a lot of money sometimes, and they know they're going to get the money right back. They know they are. So they all they have to do is like invest in companies like Valenciaga. Um, all they have to do is invest in certain companies and or whatever, and they know they're going to get the money right back. So you pay the average black man $2 million, and let's say you have a real estate brokerage firm, they're going to go out and buy a house that they can't really afford. That money's going to go right back to them. They're going to go out and spend the money on a car, expensive car, and a bunch of fancy labels and things like that. So men of no color know they're going to get the money right back. So it's really nothing to sweat. Go ahead and pay them whatever, because the money's coming right back to the white community anyway, right? So back to Kanye. So Kanye possesses all these different pathologies about not really having seen any value in himself as a black man, wanting to disassociate himself from blackness his whole life, only wanting to capitalize off of black male victimhood, but not really wanting to step into a place of sense of responsibility for the community, which is really reflective among the collective of black men, not feeling any sense of responsibility for what is going on, like all of the negative things that are happening in the black community. They don't want to take any responsibility. Now, if you look at my community tab, I posted a video of a few days ago or a couple weeks ago, I don't remember, about a Jewish um, two Jewish men who were talking about different things in their community when it pertains to education, marriage, wealth building, those kinds of things. And you just listen to the sense of responsibility that these men have. It's very refreshing, and like, wow, a real difference from the conversations when you tune in to black men talking, because they want to blame everybody for their problems, and they want to blame women. And the interesting thing about, these two Jewish guys who were talking, you never heard them ever blame a woman about anything. Like, any of the challenges that they were having, they never said, oh, well, if these Jewish women were more cooperative, we wouldn't have these problems. If the Jewish women did a better job with the kids, they really had this attitude of, the buck stops with me, and I'm responsible for the community, and I'm responsible for my wife, and I'm responsible. They had a great sense of duty as men, as husbands or future husbands. They had a sense of duty to protect their way of life, even though they are the minority within the majority. They've still carved out a lot of power for themselves. So when you look at the collective of black males, they really don't have any excuse, although they have excuses. They really don't have any excuse for remaining in subjugation for as long as they have. But anywho, back to Kanye. So Donda's gone. Kanye scrapes from the bottom of the barrel. First, he chooses a stripper, right? Kanye could go to any mega church in America and choose the first lady's daughter who's holy and pious and a virgin, or whatever the case may be. He could choose Miss Black America. He could choose any of the most upper echelon of black women that are exist in this world. But he chooses Amber Rose, a stripper, a multiracial, she's not even biracial. She's a multiracial stripper and sex worker. This is the woman who he chooses to invest his money into, and he took Amber Rose out of the strip club, just like, other black men have taken Cardi B out of the strip club, and other black men who have rescued women of no color out of the strip club, right? So Kanye rescues Amber Rose out of the strip club. She was stripping in Philadelphia. He takes her out of the strip club. He gives her money. He gives her fashion. He gives her all of this stuff. He gives her clout, blah, blah, blah. So he carries on with this for a while. He's having an affair with Kim Kardashian when she's with Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush, who goes on to marry another woman of no color and funnels all his money to the woman of no color. His children don't even look black at all. Uh, Reggie Bush. And Reggie Bush's family actually um didn't like the fact that he was with Kim Kardashian. Reggie Bush is a football player who used to play for the New Orleans Saints. His parents were boule, black people. Like, his parents were accomplished black professionals. They didn't like the fact that they had invested so much into their son, and their son chose a porn star. Because Kim Kardashian, at the time that she was dating Reggie Bush, she was a porn star from the Ray J tape, right? So Reggie Bush defied, and this is the thing about like investing into your black son for what? So your son can betray you? Reggie Bush comes from two professional parents, black, who invested into him the best football camps all his life, tutoring and everything else. He went to a Division 1 football on a football scholarship, and then ended up playing professional football due to his parents, especially his mother, pouring into him. His mother did not approve of his relationship with Kim Kardashian. He didn't give a shit. So I don't I, I don't know what is the point of having a black son if you can't save him from self-hate, no matter what you do. Reggie Bush was afforded the best that life has to offer from two black parents, especially his mother. Do you think that he went out and got someone that what his mother would approve of? No. He went and got with a porn star, which was Kim Kardashian at the time, and then later some other, low tier castaway woman of no color. And so his all of the money that should be put into the black community that his black mother is responsible for nurturing is going out. It's going back to the white community. So Kanye carries on this affair with Kim Kardashian while she's with Reggie Bush and while he is with Amber Rose. And then finally they decide, okay, well, let's go public with this relationship and stop the shenanigans. Now, a lot of this had to do with Kanye's obsession with Jay-Z and his competition with him. Because Jay-Z decided to have a regular, stable relationship with Beyonce. So Kanye said, well, maybe I should stop my shenanigans and I should settle down as well. He's getting all this publicity from, Blue Ivy, and I need to get on the action, and I need to have a kid with Kim so that people can talk about my child and not just talk about Blue Ivy. So he tries to make a hoe into a housewife with Kim. And this is the thing, they are equally yoked. In terms of narcissism, Kim and Kanye are equally yoked. The big difference between the two is that she's smarter and she's more strategic. She's more level-headed than him. But she's not like a better person. Honestly, they're really a lot alike. They really and truly are equally yoked. She's putting out a lot of propaganda right now about being a super mom. She just had this video come out on in Vogue, like, oh, I'm such a great mom, oh, blah 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 blah, whatever. She is equally yoked to Kanye in terms of character because they're both willing to degrade themselves for fame. So they have a lot in common. I think that Kim would have been willing to endure a lot more if Kanye was more controlled. But living in California, which is a heavily Democratic state, and needing to maneuver certain things the way she needed to. The whole Kanye dealing with Trump and doing the Make America Great, that put a great strain on their relationship, because those that cutting off the political ties that Kim has, I just don't think that was something that was going to be tolerable for her long term. I just don't think that it was going to be tolerable. Um, as Kanye has declined mentally, which is highly, it's to be expected of someone who has the different type of substance abuse issues and mental health issues and personality disorder issues that he has. Over time, it gets worse. So I think that she got everything that she needed to get out of the situation. Kanye has reached his pinnacle, and he will now start to decline. And I think Kim is smart enough to see that. There's no trajectory up from where he is today. I don't think that he's going to rise any further in his net worth. And the thing about his net worth is very vulnerable. A lot of his worth is tied up in a deal with Adidas, with the Yeezy shoes. So essentially, Adidas could just wake up tomorrow and say, "We don't fuck with you anymore. After this next two Yeezy things are coming out, we don't. We're going with the next guy." His net worth will plummet. A lot of it is wrapped up in the Yeezy shoes, which is controlled by men of no color. So you see what I'm saying? Kim knows this. Kim knows this. He's hanging on to his life by a string, a thread, a very thin thread. Do you think that the executives at Adidas are not plotting a way to dissociate themselves from Kanye West? I can tell you, if I'm a betting woman, I'll tell you, the executives and the top investors at Adidas are formulating a way to disassociate themselves from Kanye West right now, because he is such a liability to their brand with his antics and charades. He's uncontrollable. He's so erratic and a liability that I'm sure that at some point in time, anybody will put up with anything for the right price. But at some point in time, Kim sits down to make a SWOT analysis, and she sees the pros and the cons of being in a relationship with Kanye West. Does it make sense financially and everything else? And I can tell you the executives and the board of directors and the top investors at Adidas are doing the same thing. Is it really worth it? Are these Yeezy shoes going to sell enough to make sense for us to continue on with this partnership with him? He's got his royalties, but if he's going to continue to be erratic and stupid and literally buy his side chick, whoever she was, throwback Becky and all of her friends Birkin bags, the Birkin bags cost what, $30,000? How many bags he bought? Like what, 10 plus bags? So you do the math, 10 times 30,000. That's not including everything else. And another thing was that he has these big entourages, and that was one of Kim's biggest complaints. Kim may be a lot of things, but a businesswoman is one that she is. She couldn't justify, why does he have so many people on the payroll? And that's money going out of the household. Kanye is like any random nigga on the corner. They just spend up money that don't, oh, the money is always coming. They're not prudent with their money. And because of his grandiose personality and stupidity, he has to have an entourage bigger than what he needs. All these people are on the payroll. So if that Yeezy's contract goes away and he's reliant on what royalties. Nobody's really buying any new music. So you're really going to be depending on your old classics, and maybe if something gets licensed or used in a commercial or a TV show or a movie or something like that, the old stuff, and your writing credits, stuff like that. And you can live a good life on royalties, but you cannot live the nigga lifestyle on royalties when you're buying your woman of no color that you're sleeping with and all her friends a Birkin bag, and flying here private jet and flying there private jet and doing this and doing that and having an entourage bigger than what you need. You will be broke soon. Plus, you're going to have child support and possibly alimony that you have to pay. So I really believe that the writing was on the wall for Kim, and she knew that it was over. Like, Kanye is as much as he's ever going to be, and I should get out now. I got everything I need to move on with my life, and this is just too much. I do believe that for the right price, I do think that Kim would be willing to put up with a certain amount of bullshit if the price is right. Women like her think like that. Hell, I think like that too. I'm willing to put up with a certain amount of bullshit for the right price, for the right amount of money. Everybody has their threshold for bullshit, and I just think that he went past the threshold that she was willing to tolerate for the bullshit. And it was just at that point, it just became too much. It's just too unpredictable. I mean, the Kardashians engage in their own brand of bullshit and fuckery, but the fuckery that they engage in is usually curated fuckery. They put out press releases around fuckery that they know that they want to put out. They tell the paparazzi about certain fuckery that they want to make the news. But Kanye was too erratic for even them to control the fuckery, you see. Like, there's just no way to control it. So, evidence number one of him being a shitty dad is that in one of his narcissistic rants at some rally, he talks about wanting to terminate his child's the pregnancy, because he's not thinking about the child actually listening to this audio and video, which will live in forever. He's only thinking about himself and then in the moment and like what he's trying to do. He's trying to have like shock value or something like that. So he's not thinking about being a good husband and protecting the sanctity of his marriage. He's not thinking about being a good father and showing that his children that he loves them and that they belong on the earth. But in pursuit of his own moment, his own viral moment, he says, "Oh yeah, I was going to terminate this pregnancy. We were going to terminate this pregnancy." Fast forward, we come to today where all this fuckery is going on between him and Kim, and he just like, okay, think about it like this. Before now that Kim filed for divorce, when have you ever heard him going hard for his children or anything like that? Let's back it up. He picked up and moved to Wisconsin or Wyoming. What was it? Where was it? He left Kim and the children to move to, I don't know if it was Wyoming or Wisconsin. I know it started with a W. There was another bandit online that was in like a failed boys group who left his wife and children because he said it was too hard. He needed a break, a mental break or some shit like that. So he just left because it was hard. So he left. And it was hard for Kanye, so Kanye just left. He just left. Now, this is a man who has a nanny for each child, a driver, security, a personal assistant. So neither him nor Kim are really parenting full time like a regular schmegular parent. But even with all that assistance, Kanye was like, "Fuck this shit. I'm not about to stay here and be a husband and a father. I'm about to leave and go to Wisconsin." So where's the good father? Like, where's the good fatherhood? I don't know. I think the bar of being a good father is too low. If you're willing to abandon your household for your own personal comfort, I don't see that as being a good father. I really don't. So now he's whining and crying about something about his children. But, before recently, I had heard Black women saying that Kanye was a good father because he's whining and crying online about his children, when in fact, he sees his children as pawns, like most narcissists do. He sees his children as a way to manipulate the woman that he's trying to control to do what he wants her to do. If they have to use their children as a form of control, then they will. We see this with your everyday random average Black male. Like, Kanye is not evolved past regular nigga shit. Okay, he engages in regular everyday average Black male behavior: self-destructive, substance abuse, abusive, bad fathering, absenteeism, philandering. He's your average regular schmegular Black dude. He just got a little money. Self-hating, self-loathing, and self-destructive. He's your average everyday Black guy that you can find on any corner in America. He's not special. He just has the ability to, he used to have ability to produce good music. So he is who he is today. But as far as character is concerned, as far as decision making is concerned, he is your everyday average Black dude. They don't see value in high quality Black women. He himself passed up high quality Black women for a porn star and a stripper. And most of them would, because we all know they value whiteness. They don't value virtue. They say, "Oh, we want a virtuous woman." They only say that to devalue Black women. "Oh, you got too many bodies on you." Fuck that. They don't give a shit about bodies. They all congratulated Kanye West for marrying a porn star. They don't value virtue. They don't value that. They just only use that as a tactic. So, in other words, with these males, you have to look at what they do, not what they say. Because if you listen to what they say, you will surely be in a state of confusion. Surely you will. You'll be in a state of confusion because they'll tell you in one breath, "Oh, you've got too many bodies on you. You've been with too many men. Black women are whores." Da 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 da. And in the same breath, marry a porn star because her whiteness absolves her of all of her wrongdoings. She slept anyway. We don't even have to get into her sexual past. We don't need to get into that right now. But she had a lot of bodies under her belt, but that doesn't matter if you're white, because your whiteness absolves you of everything and it makes you perfect and beautiful, pristine, and a prize. Just being white. And the intellectual mammies will tell you that this is not true because they don't want to. I don't know. I don't know what. I can't figure out what they're doing or what they're telling themselves to ignore the resounding collective that keeps saying, we value whiteness. We want white women. Like, I don't know what you'd have to do to not hear what they're saying and not see what they're doing. I just don't know. I just hope they get picked. Like, damn, sis, after you did all this, I just want you to get picked by your favorite king. I hope your favorite king will put a ring on it, girl. Cause this is a lot that you're doing. But anywho, so he marries the porn star, blah blah blah, and commences to into all of his shenanigans throughout the years. All of his shenanigans throughout the years. I haven't seen anything that would indicate that he's a good father. Because a lot of people that struggle with substance abuse and mental illness, they will at least try to do what right for their children. Sometimes their children will be enough for them to say, hey, I'm going to stop abusing drugs. Hey, I'm going to, follow through with my treatment plan because if I can't do it for myself, I'll do it for my children. I didn't see Kanye doing that. He doesn't think about his children before he does various different outlandish, random ass shit, and he doesn't think about them. And so when we look at recent times when he's been lashing out online talking about, oh, I don't want my child on TikTok. How long has she been on TikTok? She's been on TikTok since TikTok came out. He doesn't say anything about it until now. Why? Because the mama filed for divorce and she don't want to be bothered with him. He doesn't have any control over that household. So him being the narc that he is, he tries to use the child as a pawn. So he says, oh, well, I don't want the child on TikTok. Oh, so and so won't let me come to the birthday party. Now keep in mind, if a father knows if things are volatile, Kanye can have his own birthday party for his child. He doesn't have to go to Kim's birthday party. The child can have two birthday parties. This happens in the hood all the time. All the time. When things are too contentious, the baby mama and the baby daddy is fighting, and it's too contentious, the baby have two birthday parties. This is no difference. This is just hood shit in Calabasas. That's all it is. Hood shit in Calabasas. That's it. That's it. That's all. So he could have had two birthday, we could have had another birthday party for the child. But what? He's linking up with another trash bag bandit, Travis Scott, to get the address to that birthday party when clearly he's not invited to it because he's erratic and out of fucking control and he cannot accept no for an answer. He's not humble at all. He's going to force himself to a situation that he wasn't invited to. And his co-conspirator, Travis Scott, gives him the address and he pops up to make everything awkward and weird and security and everything else because he cannot accept the fact that it's over. You can't just roll up over here anytime you want. Another thing, when he went into that house and took items out of the home and then went online and said that, oh, security said I'm stealing out of my own home. Kim this, da 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 da. Listen, estúpido. When you're going through a divorce, you have something called division of assets. You have to submit to the court everything that you want from the dissolution of the marriage. It could be a book set of encyclopedias. It can be cars. It can be anything, stocks, bonds, properties, anything. You submit that to the court, and the court will decide who gets what. And the court will tell you when you file for divorce. You can't sell any assets. You can't hide any assets. Don't make a move because we need to evaluate everything. Don't don't make any sudden moves. So Kanye, in defiance of the court, goes to the house and starts to remove property from the home. Yes, it's considered theft, idiota. Estúpido. Yes, it's considered theft, stupid. Because if you want something from that house, you need to submit it to the court that you want it and why it's yours and why you deserve it. You're under jurisdiction of men of no color via their courts, estúpido. And so he's using all of this to make all this ruckus, like, oh, I'm such a great father. She's doing this, she's doing that. It's like, no, your ego is out of control. Your ego is so grandiose. You think you're above the law. He literally thinks he's above the law. He thinks he's above the court. He thinks he's some type of freaking demigod that just operates at his own whim and everything else. And it's crazy that people are saying, oh, he's such a good dad because he cares about his kids. No, he doesn't. Please see through the shenanigans and all these theatrics. It's just to get his own way. He's such a freaking narc. Very grandiose. I don't see any redeeming qualities in him at all. Even his whole Jesus walks, him pretending to be this preacher, it's all fake. And the thing about his worship sermons, it's not about worshiping God, it's about worshiping him. If anybody never noticed. He's not a spiritual man at all. He's not even the Jesus walk he's in the same way. Well, we can talk about Jay-Z, that's another conversation, but even his H to the Izzo, Hove, it's about worshiping him. And Kanye, couldn't be outdone by Jay-Z because he has an unhealthy obsession with Jay-Z. He has to create a mechanism for people to worship him. All right, what y'all talking about in the comments? Let's see. Blasting their private, yep, makes him look selfish. Money makes you more of who you are. Oh, men are loyal to the desires of their private parts. Women need to be loyal to the bag. Oh, thank you for loving the channel, Queen Wisdom. Yes, they do. I find it weird that black men of the top 10% have no desire to reproduce themselves. Kanye is not a good father. Black women need to know that this is not our fight. It's not our fight. And I hope that I'm not coming off like I'm defending Kim, because I'm not trying to defend Kim. Kim who is who she is. She's just the big difference between the two of them. They are similar in character, but Kim is just smarter than him. She's just smarter and she's more strategic. That's the big difference between Kim and Kanye. Kim is following the blueprint of her mother. Her mother comes from a castaway background of people of no color. She's a mixed, I think she's like German, Irish, blah, blah, blah. So she did not have the phenotype to get a man of no color, a high class man of no color. So she ends up getting with an Armenian lawyer. And throughout that whole marriage, she was thoughting. She had an obsession with black men because she wanted to get that validation that black men offered her. And she was also scheming money from them as well. And that's how her daughters learn from the best. because that's been Chris's MO from a long time ago, even when she was married. You know, she knows that she's a castaway, throwaway woman of no color that high class men of no color don't want. So she knows if she wants to be praised and worshiped for her whiteness, black men are the easiest way to get that. And she can get a bag at the same damn time. I believe that Chris had a whole football team worth of kids because she knew that she wanted to mold her children to um, increase her longevity and ability to make money. And Kim is no different. I think Kim followed her mother's blueprint, and that's why she has 4 children. And I think if Kanye wasn't so crazy, she probably would have had more children. Because now my child is going to have to deal with Northwest, Saint West, Kardashian West, whatever. Like my child is going to have to deal with them in the tabloids and doing whatever shenanigans they're doing. So Kim is going to live on through her children. She'll be relevant through her children. All of them will, unfortunately. That's a blueprint that her mother set out for her. That's why she has a basketball team worth of children. And she's tried to put her children in position to be somewhat of media whores and also just extend her relevance and longevity in the news, in society. Because think about it, like, look who she's slumming with now. Look who she's slummed with in the past. She's in the news, but I don't think she has any respect among people of no color. You know what I mean? So anyway, the conclusion of this live is that Kanye is not a good father. And all of these antics are about his grandiose personality. It's about his ego. It's about his control factor. I predict that at the conclusion of this marriage, it's Kanye is at a high risk of offing himself. Especially like if Beyonce drops an album and Jay-Z is by her side. If Beyonce and Jay-Z decide to have more children via surrogacy, Kanye West will implode and probably off himself. He has an unhealthy obsession with Jay-Z. He feels an extreme sense of competitiveness with him, which is why he became so obsessed with getting on making $1 billion because, Jay-Z was considered a billionaire before him. He was so upset that I don't think they invited him to the wedding. Beyonce didn't invite them to the wedding because she don't fuck with Kim. And you can't blame her. Beyonce know what Kim is made of, and she just don't fuck with her like that. And he's always felt a sense of rejection, but nobody told him to go and pick a porn star. He chose to do that. So this is the thing, like, you want to do these things, but you don't want to live with the consequences of your choices. When you could have chose Miss Black America, Miss Black USA, you could have chose, whoever preacher's daughter's wife or whatever sorority girl, black woman, the prettiest one ever. You could choose the most beautiful, pious black woman on the face of this planet. And you didn't want that. You wanted the porn star. So since you wanted the porn star, you have to understand that you socially alienate yourself from certain spaces. And Beyonce don't fuck with her, and you can't make her. And do you think that Jay-Z is going to defy his wife? No. No. It's not going to happen. So he excluded his own self from that. And then his erratic behavior. It's like if you didn't see how Jay-Z distanced himself from Dame Dash, you need to understand he will distance himself from a crazy ass narcissist that doesn't have anything like to offer. Like once you start having diminishing returns, when your contribution to the business and to humanity do not justify your antics, when your antics are more costly than the benefit that you are producing with your product, then yes, you make yourself obsolete. You isolate yourself and alienate yourself from different opportunities. Yeah, absolutely. Kim is way smarter. She's dumb, but she's more strategic than him. Like if you listen to her talk, she sounds like she talks with like a sixth grade education level. Her just everything she says is so juvenile. Like the way she formulates her thoughts is very juvenile. Sounds like she has a sixth grade education. But even with that said, she's still smarter than Kanye West. And I think that as a woman who, you know, keep in mind Kim Kardashian was the help. She was Brandy Norwood's personal assistant. That's how she met Ray J. Kim Kardashian was Brandy Norwood's personal assistant, and she actually ended up um, scamming Brandy Norwood's mother, Sonia. She misused the company credit card. This was, I think, settled or thrown out years later, but Kim Kardashian was the help. And I think the Paris Hilton thing came out before Kim Kardashian, so she thought, hey, let me try my hand at this as well. And she knew that black men would worship her. And she's like, if you put her in the men of no color community, and she is a throwback, she's a throwaway. She's a low bottom, low tier. Only people that will worship her like that are white men. Pardon me, black men. Clean her up, dust her off, like even like what is his name? Uh Tyga with Kylie. Oh, I'm gonna give you the swag. I'm gonna give you that black woman swag so you can be relevant. That's how they see these throwaway white women as projects. They see them as projects. Yeah, they see them as projects. So, yeah, Kim was a total throwaway. Like, who else is gonna worship you besides black men? That's the only people that's gonna worship you and put you on a pedestal temporarily. Now, all these grandiose gestures that Kanye is doing, I think that they used to work in the past, but Kim, I mean, she's a strategic person. If she's already putting out in the media this and that and filing paperwork on you and curating her image and, really being very calculated about what information she puts out, it's like the more calculated she is, the more erratic he is. He's not thinking about his legacy, as most of them don't. He's not thinking about his legacy. He's not thinking about any of that. He's just thinking about the immediate gratification of doing what he wants to do in the moment. That's all he's thinking about. He's not even thinking about how his actions affect his children. I think he's really disconnected from reality. And I really do think that once this divorce is final, he's at a high risk of self-offing himself. His ego is extremely fragile. He can't be with his children without security per the courts. I don't know if she got a law degree. I don't know about that. If she got a law degree, I think it probably would be like, what do you call it? One of those honorary things. I think it would be honorary. I don't think she could just like earn it outright. I don't think she's that smart. But yeah, he's at a high risk of self-offing himself. And I think that's why she said, like that's why she put it to where he cannot be alone with his children. He can't, not without security. He can only have supervised visitations. And he's whining and crying online like, "Oh, she's keeping me from my kids." Sir, you're erratic. You're erratic. You're not predictable. You don't do things, you don't behave in a rational manner. No, you cannot be around your children without supervision. Absolutely not. He's at risk of kidnapping those children. He's at risk of harming them because a lot of times these guys, they'll, instead of losing, like, in their mind is so warped. You know what I mean? And it's like the reality and the fantasy world that they live in is blurred. So in their fantasy world, they think that the world is out to get them, everyone's against them, they're trying to keep them away from their children, blah blah blah, and they're the best dad in the world. And if and they think the same way. Sometimes they think, if I can't have my children, nobody can. A lot of times they think like that. They'll take the children out and themselves. And I think Kim knows this. She knows, she has seen things in the depths of his craziness and his addiction that we've never seen as a general public. So if anybody would be privy to what he's capable of, it would be her. So she knows that she can't leave him alone with the children without security. She knows that. And I believe that just because I see regular hood niggas doing the same thing. They don't care about their children. They don't. They'll take themselves out and the children. And the baby mama too, if they get an opportunity to. Kim's not that stupid. If anything, she's a self-preserving hoe. She ain't trying to leave this earth. She ain't gonna never see Kanye without security. I don't think ever in her life again. I don't think she would ever put herself in a position to be alone with him without security. I don't think she's that stupid. She may be stupid in other ways, but she ain't trying to leave this earth. And being alone with him is a recipe of leaving this earth. Especially once that divorce is finalized. That's going to be his most volatile time. He probably is going to go on a binge and he may self off himself. It's quite highly possible. Why is my little one still awake? I have no idea. I have no idea. I told my my friend the other day, I was like, oh no, the girls at the gym. I was like, I'm not the worst mom, but I'm not gonna win mom of the year either. Okay. Nid Spark says no law degree. She passed the baby bar, whatever that means. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I think if anything, she has some type of like honorary thing, but I don't know that she doesn't even have a bachelor's. Like, how could she get a law degree, right? She didn't go to college. She didn't go to college. So how would you just get into law school without a bachelor's. And then what is it, the LSAT or not the LSAT? What test do lawyers take to get in? Get in? Is it the LSAT? I don't remember. I'm so far removed. But nonetheless, as stupid as she is, she's still smarter than him. And I don't think that she'll ever be alone. I don't think she'll ever be alone with him. In her state, you could become a lawyer through apprenticeship. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. It wasn't it black women affording her that apprenticeship? That's unfortunate. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that that was a little caveat with California that you could do it through apprenticeship and then take the bar. I just don't see how she would pass the bar. I just I don't see that happening. Like how? I literally don't see that happening. I literally don't. I'm trying to think of what other little antics Kanye has been doing, besides like barging into the birthday party, whining and crying online about, oh, someone let me see my black kids. Now they're black all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden they're black when before they weren't black. But yeah, in conclusion, he's not a good dad. He's your regular average erratic ass baby daddy. Oh, the new girlfriend. I don't know what she was, or she was just like a little fling. Um, she basically does what I tell women to do. Like I I think that I think you should get as much out of a situation as you can get. And that's basically what she did. I mean, I think that's smart. He's stupid, but you know, men pay for what they want. That's what he wanted to do at the time, so that's what he paid his money on. The thing about black men is that black men funnel resources outside the community. Black women funnel resources inside the community. They funnel resources outside the community. But that's what women should do. Women should not be hanging out with men for free, and you should be coming out of any interaction with a man. You should be coming out with some type of tangible, not just a bunch of wasted time. But yeah, she has her Birkin bag and whatever else she got along the way. You know what I mean? Like, you can criticize it. It's not, but then again, you know what, black women, y'all need to make sure that y'all are getting a bag as well. Okay? From whoever you're dealing with, you need to make sure that you're not leaving the situation empty-handed. You need to be snatching and grabbing as many resources as you can from any situation that you're affiliated with or that you're dealing with. That's what she did. Why should we be left holding the bag? Why should black women be all about, oh, sacrifice and putting in the hard work and going through the ups and downs and building up a man? No. These women of no color, they don't build men. They get the men on the top and they get the resources. He didn't already got built up. The black community built him up. Donda built him up. And then now that he's at the top, now he's splurging on women of no color. Well, black women don't need to be building men up either. Black women don't need to be building men up. No, don't do that. Let him build himself. Let him use women of no color to build himself. Whatever. But don't build him up. Let him build himself up, and then you come in when he's already on the top, and then you get the resources. Okay? That's going to be a game changer for black women. We are not Barbara the Builders. We've resigned from that role. You're not going to be Barbara the Builders anymore. I forgot that pale lady's name. I don't remember her name. She's so freaking irrelevant. But I know she came through and snatched a bunch of resources from Kanye, and he's so stupid. He just worships her paleness. So he thought that was going to be able to make a, what do you call it? It was going to try to make a change with Kim, but he's so delusional. He doesn't realize it really is over. And you know, when they got married, I gave them 5 years. I said they're going to be divorced in like 5 years. I thought it was bullish. I was like, there's no way that marriage is going to last. I give them 5 years tops. I remember saying that. And they outlasted my prediction. It's been what, 2014? What, 8 years that they've been married? Is it 8? Oh, hold on. 6, 2, yeah, 8 years. So I said 5, so they outlasted my prediction by 3 years. But I just knew it wasn't gonna last. Just knew that. Anywho, y'all, thanks for tuning in. I might be coming back online because I want to talk about this mammy ideology. Like the intellectual mammies are coming out to fight black men's battles, which I don't know why. Because the interesting thing, like, black men don't have anything very complex to say about their behavior, about the patterns, because it's not black male bashing. It's just calling out the behavior, the patterns and the behavior. But intellectual mammies are coming out with their capes on, fighting, like creating all these arguments when black men aren't even intelligent enough to create these arguments. It's very fascinating. And I just want to know, like, what's in it for the mammy? Like, what's in it for you? What are you getting out of the deal? What are you getting out of it? Like in the I just in the midst of my black male worshiping, I never could imagine coming out and defending black male behavior. I mean, I was just quietly mammying within my own little household. But I don't think that I would ever like put myself out to like defend the collective, because I knew that the collective was trash. I knew that much, but I just was like, oh, there's all these, we can't put everybody in one group, because it's just too hard mentally. I think it's too hard to just grapple with the fact that there's only the minority is good. The minority. Like, that's not an easy pill to swallow, but it is what it is. But what's in it for the mammies? Like, what are they getting out of the deal? Like, what's benefiting you from this? Maybe some super chats or something like that, but I just don't even think it's very lucrative. I don't know. And like, okay, so even if you get like the super chats and some temporary validation, like, what is that going to do for your long-term individual life? Like, maybe when super chats are like no longer a thing, or maybe there's just so many mammies speaking the same thing to where like you can't make as much money. I don't know. Like, what's in it for you personally? Because, you know, I feel like my way of life, black women can personally they can personally point to how it's going to benefit them in their individual lives. But I just don't see how this crusading is going to benefit you personally, especially if you want the Kangs, because wouldn't you want black women to leave them alone so they can be more for you, right? Like, it's more Kangs to choose from because you have less Black women interested in them. So that's more for you. I don't know. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. 30% of my listeners are not subscribers. So if you fall within that 30%, please do go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can know when I go live and when I post new content. Alrighty, my dears. Thank you. Bye.